Welcome you all students for the online class of social. Today we are going to learn about history in the chapter 9, the flowering of regional cultures. And I am your ma'am Angelin going to teach this lesson in an interesting manner. This is going to be the first part of the lesson. The second part will continue in the next video. So let's start the lesson. Let's start the flowering. The flowering means the origin of the cultural with the regions. So let's consider this lesson as a budding, a flower buds. Okay. So let's start the buds like language and literature of medieval India, the rise of the regional languages and the paintings of the medieval India. So these are the things we are going to learn in the first part of the lesson. So let's know about how the medieval period got witnessed for the culture. So medieval period is the greatest period which encouraged the cultural change and regional change and everything. It is based on the regions different of languages and different of literature, musics, dance, food and dresses. Based on the regions, it got divided into the whole India. And the language and literature, the court language of 8th and to 12th century was Sanskrit, and later on what happened, the arrival of Afghans and Turks and everyone made the court language into Persian, because Persian. So the Turks and the Afghans made the Persian language as the court language, and also they started to do the literature work based on the languages. And I have mentioned the Binishpur temple of West Bengal. Have a glance of the picture. Next, how the regional languages got emerged. The Bhakti movement made a drastic change in the languages, because the Bhakti saints and the reformers of the Bhakti movement, what they did, they went to the people and preached in their own local languages. So that what happened, one language started to carry through from one place to another place. So this made to the origin of new languages like Hindi, Marathi and Bengali. In the centuries of 8th century, we can tell this, okay. And next is the Marathi people. The Marathi social reformers like Namadeva and Tularam, what they did is, they contributed themselves by translating the Bhagavad Gita into the Marathi language. Jaineshwar, he committed himself to convert the Bhagavad Gita into Marathi language. And then later on what happened, Deccan Sultans, they changed the court language into Marathi, because the people, whenever the kingdom changes, the kings changes, the court language also will be changing, okay. And next is in South India. Mostly the South India is full of Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada and Telugu. This also made a flourishing change in the medieval period. I have mentioned the books Kamba Ramayanam, which is a translation of Ramayanam in Tamil, and then the book of Krishna Deva Raya and Siddhartha. Okay, I have mentioned the pictures. Have a glance of the pictures also. And next is the Rajput literature. Rajput, what they did is, they used to write books or poems or poetry, everything based on their bravery, their strength and their power of the kingdom and the power of the king, okay. They used to do all those things, and they used to write everything regarding their own positives. They create the kings and the kingdoms as the heroes. So they write the books on basis of that. And why they create like that means, the Rajputs were so strong and they were loyal and independent. They are the strongest rulers, okay. And some of the poems written by the medieval period is very very important, and in that the poeters like Mirzat and Amir, those persons are very very fantastic writers, and they too also do the drawings also, okay. And the next is the Rajput literature. What happened? The local languages such as Bijra and Malathi and Bhojpuri, what happened? They started to create books on that also. For example, Prithviraj Rasho, what we learnt in the first lesson, the chapter 1 of history, we learnt about the book. So it was written by Chand Barde, based on the King Prithviraj. He wrote the book in the language of Bharaj. Okay, so like these books only got emerged during the medieval period. And next is Mani Parvalam, which means the two things, Malayalam and Tamil together, is called as the Mani Parvalam. Okay, and also Kerala, the area what Malayalam spoken was emerged from Tamil only. So both together is called as the Manipuralam, and it is called as the Dravidian language. And what happened? The Brahmins who were in Tamil Nadu, they started to go and settle in Kerala. They renamed themselves as Nambudris. Okay, so they translated many books from Tamil to Malayalam. So this also made a drastic change in the regional languages and region culture. And here I have mentioned the meaning of Pacha Malayalam, which means the pure Malayalam. The book was written in the 16th century, and it was based on the Bhakti poet. Okay, it's based on the Bhakti poet. And also they translated many epic stories like Mahabharatam, Ramayana into Malayalam. The next is the paintings. From here the culture starts. The paintings of medieval period was the richest one because the usage of the paintings and the usage of the materials was very high in cost. This because of the sultans and because of the Mughal period. Okay, and they started to illustrate the Hindu and Jainism, Buddhism gods and the followers and the important reformers of the religion also. And this made a drastic change in the culture of also. And what happened? Humayun, he appointed two persons as the permanent painters in his court. Mir Syed Ali and Abad Samad. They both were the permanent painters of his court. And what they will do if king wants to draw some drawings means immediately he'll call them and the two persons will draw everything and they'll keep aside and for the future. And now so that only we are getting all the paintings from Mughal Empire and medieval period, everything in a safe manner. So here I have mentioned the picture of medieval period. Have a glance of the picture. And there was a miniature painting, which means miniature is for the small and minute paintings. For example, you can see the picture of a medieval king. For example, Akbar means we can see Akbar and his dress and also his throne and every flowers, everything will be so minute in work. So the minute work paintings are called as miniature paintings. So what happened? Mughal people, they started a school to educate the future generations so that they can spread the painting skills to other generation. So the miniature school also was started and extremely delighted works are done during the medieval period. Those works will be done in the paper or a slab or in a cloth, everything they'll do on every surface we can do. And also it is based on the religion and local culture. For example, if a painter is looking at a market of medieval period means he'll do everything in a proper way so that we can understand how the market structure was in the medieval period. So like this only they did the paintings, everything. And they used natural brushes and brush works was delightful works. And they used materials, painting materials like minerals. For example, they extracted coal for black color and charcoal for brown color, like that. They extracted minerals and from vegetables and from fruits and from all those things. For example, gold. For example, Akbar, what he'll do is he'll just melt the gold and he'll do artworks in gold. So the high cost peoples will spend more and more. The kings and the kingdoms and the Rajputs, they'll do high cost works. So they will melt the gold and melt the silver and do the fine art using that. So only I have mentioned in the before, richest paintings, the richest work is the painting work, like that I have mentioned you. So these are the works done during the medieval period. And I have mentioned the pictures of the dyes, okay, how they prepare dyes. And use for the cloths also, what they will do, they'll use the proper organic dye. They'll extract from vegetables and from fruits and they'll dig the thread in that and then they'll weave the dresses. So have a glance of the pictures. So in this first part of chapter 9, we have learned what is the religion and languages and the languages with literature work and paintings and the painters of medieval period. I hope you all understood the lesson. We'll meet in the next part of the lesson. Thank you.